So what are some of your, going back in time 14 years when you were doing wholesaling and you were working with all the cigar companies directly, and now that you buy from them, who's some of your favorite companies to work with? Like what do you like staffing?
All, man. They're all like they're one family.
Yeah.
And it's a great industry. It's such a beautiful industry because you meet so many entrepreneurs that just came in from different countries and different cultures, and they built, and all of a sudden, they've been here for around for 100 years. And it's, I love every one person that I work with, whether rep, whether cigar owner, whether he's out in the field doing his thing. They're all great people. You go out sometimes to the farmers in Nicaragua or Honduras or Dominican, and you meet this person that making a cigar with love. Actually, that cigar takes over 100 hands to become a cigar.
It takes 100 hands to make the cigar?
From plant, from seeds, all the way to become a cigar that you have in your hand. It takes over 100 hands so you can have that smoke.
Yeah, so maybe walk us through that, because that's interesting. When you're growing up if you know anything about cigars, teenagers in your 20s, whatever, you hear about Cuban cigars or whatnot. And then I was kind of shocked to find out that, like, a bunch of the Cubans defected and they just opened their own place in Honduras, Dominican Republic, Nicaragua. So, like, where do the cigars of the world come from?
I think it started in Cuba, basically. Started, I believe, in Cuba. They have the best soil till this day. They have the best soil, in my opinion. And as far it goes in tobacco, because every time you're smoking a Cuban, it's just nothing like it out there. Basically, if you're smoking 100% Cuban, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But a lot of cigars have been it so far. Nicaraguans, Dominicans, Hondurans, Costa Rican. But Dominican and Nicaraguan have really stepped up their game. Come out with great product. Unbelievable products such as Padron, Fuente, Davidoff. They make just unbelievable blend that they tweak together and make such a beautiful smoke to have in your hands. And you're like, wow, this is just amazing. Tastes like nothing other.
And some of these higher end cigars from, again, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, I don't know how to ask the question. Like, like wine ages a certain amount of time. And, if you get a really good bourbon, it's a 5-year or a 10-year, and scotches go 20, 25, 30, 40 years. What is the time frame from when they like grow a tobacco plant to when you're actually smoking it for it to get that good, like, rich taste?
Time frame, I think it's probably from seeds to they get it to cigar. I believe it's probably maybe a year, maybe 18 months. By the time they sit on the tobacco, by the time they put it in a bar, by the time they pearlize it, by the time they, box it, by the time they sit on it. Sometimes a lot of companies sits on a cigar for probably 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and then they releases it. Becomes an aged cigar to tell you it's a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old tobacco.
So does the tobacco age kind of like liquor does? Like it gets better or tastier?
Of course.
Okay. Tell me about that, because I don't understand it. Like I don't understand anything about the science, or I don't have a green thumb. I don't know shit about growing anything.
I haven't grown anything either, but I don't know much about the growers. But all I know is they sit on the tobacco and it loses, picks up a lot of flavor. It loses their bitterness. But every time you grow the tobacco in the field, they hung it, of course, and they do. Trying to remember what I said. It's been a long day, but
don't worry, I get it, man. I get it. That's why we do these late at night, so we can catch people off guard.
I know,
because I've read in like Cigar Aficionado, they're like, you cure this and you do this, and then you there's just so many terms that I don't understand.
There's a lot goes through a cigar and tobacco. But these guys are just. I mean, you have to see it to believe it. What goes through in a cigar world, just sometimes is overwhelming.
Yeah,
definitely overwhelming.
Have you been to any of the places I
have several times.
Yeah. What's that like to visit and see, like, from this giant leaf all the way down to actually getting worked on and cut down, and are a lot of these still hand rolled, or is it done by a machine?
Everything is hand rolled. Everything is done by hand. There is no such a thing as a machine in our world. I mean, there's cigars made by machine, but everything is done basically from hand.
Oh wow. So
that's what I tell you, when it goes through 100 hands to become a cigar, that's how you appreciate a cigar. When you actually are out in the field and you see all these people that, picking the plants and let it sit and dries out and then roll it and then put it in a box press and let it sit for a while, ages, and then they put a wrapper on it and then they taste it and,
Yeah, so much work.
It is. it is.
It almost
And
makes
a lot
you
of
feel.
people don't appreciate. You know, they grab a cigar and they like light it up and think, "Oh, this looks cool," but there's so much art behind it. Not every person could do it.
No, I've seen a couple cigar rollers. There's one down in San Diego. There's a shop down there where, like, on Friday and Saturday nights, they have a guy sitting there just rolling kind of their house blend,
Right.
and they're okay. But obviously the tobacco, whatever you do to make tobacco great, age it and whatnot, it's not top of the line. But it is cool to see the process of the guy just, he's got a little saucer of water and he does everything by hand. He's got these old wooden tools. I mean, it looks like the manufacturing process hasn't changed in 300 fucking years or something.
It's not going to change. He grabs a bunch and he knows exactly how much he's got to put in the cigar from, whether it's let's say the binder or the filler, and then he knows exactly how much to put Lajero in there so it's not overpowering. He knows exactly what's the spice. It's just like making food. I mean, it's just like my grandma and your grandma in the kitchen. Exactly, they know exactly what to do and how to do it and how to spice it. Some people go by measurements, and you got to go, oh, I got to use this and I got to use that. These guys, there's no measurements. They're just bunch of this, bunch of this, bunch of that. Put it together, roll it. Here we go. And it's consistency. It's you get the same cigar over and over and over, the same taste over and over and over. It's amazing.
Yeah, you mentioned consistency. I think. With the stuff I smoke, it's probably $15 to $25 a cigar. So thanks for bringing this. Even then, it always blows my mind knowing that it's made by hand, or now knowing that it's made by hand. The consistency, like, I've never really had a bad box that burned weird or tasted weird, or just like when they're rolling thousands of cigars by hand, how are they keeping that consistency?
That's just go back to what we said. They know exactly the right measurement to put in a cigar. And they taste them, and they test them actually in the field. I test them there's a small little machine. They test the draw and how does it draw really well. That's one thing with Cuban. They don't do that. They just put the cigar together and, like, I think it's perfect, put it in a box. So that's why sometimes you smoke a cigar and you can't puff on it. And it's a little tight. There's no, they don't have the technology, like we should say, like they have the technology in Nicaragua and Honduras and Dominican.